Greetings sir, I'm Dave Fushan S. Gamba of BSMT3 Canopus, and in this video I'm going to explain the IMO performance standards for ECDIS on the topic operational and functional requirements on route planning, monitoring, and voyage recording. Okay, so first, the route planning, monitoring, and voyage recording is being adhered according to the SOLAS Chapter 574 Regulation 34, that is on the safe navigation and avoidance of dangerous situation. Okay, so actually on the voyage planning or passage planning, it includes the four major parts: the appraisal, the planning, the execution, and the monitoring. So first is the route planning. 11.1. The system should support simple and reliable route planning and monitoring. Okay, so as given on the display, or the ECDIS itself must provide a simple and reliable route planning for the mariners to be able to apply and operate it with ease and convenience. 11.2. The ECDIS should always use the largest scale data available in its database for safety contour alerts, prohibited area entry, and alerts as per Appendix 5. So largest scale must always be used and available for safety contour alerts. Next is 11.3, that is the route planning itself. 11.3.1, route planning should include both straight and curved segments. So this includes the courses or the segments that a ship should follow for us. 11.3.2, it should be possible to adjust and plan route alphanumerically and graphically, including adding waypoints to a route, deleting waypoints from a route, and changing the position of a waypoint. So basically it states that the system must be able to add, delete, and change waypoints accordingly during the planning of the voyage. 11.3.3, users should be able to plan alternative routes alongside the selected route, clearly distinguishing between them. Okay, so when the mariners will adjust the plans according to its preference, then those changes must be distinguishable. Next, 11.3.4. The system should provide graphical warnings if the planned route comes too close to the ship's safety contour. Okay, so in this aspect, the ECDIS must provide various alarms. Those includes crossing safety contour. In this system, the ECDIS should provide those alarms when the vessel is approaching or crossing a predefined safety contour. This safety contour are specific lines labeled with corresponding depth or values in the water. Next, 11.3.5. It should also give graphical warnings for proximity to prohibited areas, special condition geographic areas, or point objects based on user-defined settings and IHO standards, with a permanent indication when the categories are selected and detailed information available on request. Okay, so graphical warnings must be provided to prohibited areas. Okay, so when being set on that ECDIS, those areas that are prohibited, when the ship are going in that specific area, then it shall provide warnings for to have awareness for the mariners. 11.3.6. Users can choose to consider the accuracy of hydrographic data when receiving warnings. Okay, so the availability and availability to consider and choose the accuracy of hydrographic data. 11.3.7. The system should support a comprehensive route check displaying detected objects graphically and in text to aid the planning process. Okay, so during route checking, a display must provide objects or symbols and text to be able to aid the planning process for us, the mariners, to know what is the meaning of that particular symbols or particular details displayed on the system. 11.3.8. Mariners can specify a cross-track limit for deviation from the planned route, triggering an automatic off-track alarm. Okay, when we say cross-track limit, it is a limit where a ship is allowed to diverge from. Okay, so when the ship will diverge from those limits, then The ECDIS, according to this standard, must provide an alarm during when the ship will diverge from those limits. 11.4 is the topic all about route monitoring. Okay, so the selected route and on ship's position should always be visible in the display when covering that area. Okay, so basically the ship must be always displayed for us to be aware of the ship's position in that voyage area. 11.4.2, it should be possible to display a sea area without the ship's position for activities like look ahead or route planning with continuous automatic route monitoring functions on the route monitoring display. Users can quickly return to the display covering the ship's position with a single operator action. Okay, so basically it states that when we are going to scan a possible area, then with a single operator action, we can automatically back the display to the ship's position to be able to monitor the area. Next, 11.4.3. Users can select alarms and graphical indications if own ship will pass too close to the safety contour within a specified time or distance, with a permanent indication when this alarm is deselected. Okay, so when passing or passing close to the safety contour being set, the users must be able to provide select those time and distance when this ship will close to the proximity of the safety contour limits. 11.4.4. The system should provide warnings or indications if own ship will approach too closely to user selectable categories of prohibited areas or special condition geographic areas based on user settings and IHO standards, with a permanent indication when these categories are selected. Okay, another variety of alarm is being stated in 11.4.4. So it provides warnings if the ship will approach to these prohibited areas or special condition geographic areas. This specific alarm is called the geodetic alarm when there are inconsistencies of the geodetic data. Then if the ship will pass too close to the proximity of this geographic data, then the system, of course, will provide a warning to the user. Next is 11.4.5. An alarm should be activated if the ship exceeds the specified cross-track limit for deviation from the planned route as defined during route planning. Okay, so back again from the cross-track limit, wherein that's the limit where a ship can diverge from. So if basically the ship will diverge from those limits, then of course the ECDIS, as per IMO performance standards, should provide those alarms for awareness. Next, 11.4.6. The ECDIS should provide warnings or indications as selected by the mariner with related graphical indication if the ship's present course and speed will bring it too close to user selectable categories of danger or aids to navigation over a specified time or distance, with permanent indication when these categories are selected. So another warnings or indications is being stated here with a relevant alarm. So this alarm is called deviation route alarm, or yes, perhaps since if the ship's present course and speed will bring to a danger to navigation, then an alarm should provided by the ECDIS. 11.4.7. Graphical warnings should be given if the current or the next leg of the selected route comes too close to the safety contour. Okay, so if the next leg of the waypoint is being near approximately to the safety contour, then warning should be given. 11.4.8. Graphical warning should be given if the current or the next leg of the selected route approaches user selectable categories of prohibited areas, special condition geographic areas, or point objects too closely based on user settings and IHO standards. Okay, the next leg being selected is too close to the prohibited areas or special geographic areas that are off limits for the ship's condition. Then the ECDIS must provide those graphical warnings. Next, 11.4.9. The mariner can choose to factor in the accuracy of hydrographic data in these indications. So the user can choose to factor the accuracy for the indications being provided. Next is 11.4.10. The ship's position should be accurately derived from a continuous positioning system, with a preference for a second independent positioning source to identify discrepancies. Okay, so ship's positioning must be accurately derived from continuous positioning system. So there must be another source for positioning to be able to distinguish the discrepancies or differences of the position of the ship. 11.4.11. The ECDIS should warn when the input from position, heading, or speed sources is lost, and repeat alerts or indication from these sources. Okay, so an alarm warning given that position system alert, the position of the ship is being lost and not being displayed. If for example the global positioning system is being unable to operate, then it shall be provided in the ECDIS an alarm for this certain situation. Okay, next is 11.4.13. The positioning system and system database should use the same geodetic datum with a warning if they don't match. 11.4.14. The ECDIS should allow the display of alternative routes alongside the selected routes with clear differentiation. Mariners can modify the selected route or switch to an alternative route during the voyage. 11.4.15. It should be possible to display the following: time labels along ship's track manually on demand and automatically at intervals selected between 1 and 120 minutes, and 2. An adequate number of points, free movable electronic bearing lines, variable and fixed range markers, and other symbols required for navigation purposes, and specify data. So the system must be able to display those specific requirements like the range marker and the EBL that is needed for navigation. 11.4.16. Users can input geographical coordinates to display a specific position on demand and select any point or features on the display to read its geographical coordinates. 11.4.17. The system should allow manual adjustment of the ship's displayed geographic position with alphanumeric indication on the screen. This adjustment should be maintained until altered by the mariner and automatically recorded. Okay, so manual adjustments must be provided by the system and with alphanumeric indication on the screen. 11.4.18. The ECDIS should enable users to manually input and plot bearing and distance line of position and calculate the resulting position of the ship. This resulting position can be used as an origin for dead reckoning. Okay, this is necessary to be able to track the position of the ship and the dead reckoning with the use of manually inputting the bearing and distance of the line of position. Next, 11.4.9. The system should highlight any discrepancies between positions obtained from continuous positioning systems and positions obtained from manual observations. Okay, so the system must be able to provide highlights between the differences or discrepancies from the positioning systems and the manual observations of the mariners. Next topic is the voyage recording covered on 11.5. 11.5.1. The ECDIS should store and able to reproduce a certain minimum elements required to reconstruct the navigation and verify the official database used during the previous 12 hours. Okay, so ECDIS must reproduce these minimum elements required during the previous 12 hours. The following data should be recorded at 1 minute intervals. So this data includes 1. To ensure a record of on-ship's past track time, position, heading, and speed. Okay, during 1 minute interval, this track time, position, heading, and speed must be recorded in a 1 minute interval. Next, ensure a record of official data used in source, edition, date, cell, and update history. Okay, during the use of those ECDIS, then a 1 minute interval must be recorded: the source, the edition, the date, the cell, and the update history of the system being used. Point 3. Any changes in safety contour, look ahead and route monitoring alert settings. Okay, so changes during the monitoring or during the planning must be also recorded in the system database. 11.5.2. The ECDIS should output the information listed in 11.5.1.2 and 0.5.1.3 to a Voyage data recorder. Okay, so as per mentioned in the 11.5.1, those data must be listed in the Voyage data recorder. Next, 11.5.3. In addition, ECDIS should record the complete track of the entire voyage with time marks at intervals not exceeding 4 hours. Okay, so as per SOLAS requirements that from berth to berth, the vessel shall have this plan, and during the entire voyage, the ECDIS must record those entire voyage time with not exceeding 4 hours intervals. So next, 11.5.4, it should not be possible to manipulate or change the recorded information. Okay, so it must be manipulable for change and recorded information of the voyage recording. 11.5.5, the ECDIS should have a capability to preserve the record of the previous 12 hours on voyage track. So the ECDIS must preserve the record of those past 12 hours data on the voyage track. Next, okay, so that would be also on the IMO performance standards of the ECDIS, particularly in the route planning, route monitoring, and voyage recording of the electronic chart display and information system. Thank you, sir.